Is Mount Sinai, the mountain of God, real? Why hasn't mainstream archaeology taken Mount Sinai seriously? Because for 1,500 years we've been looking at the wrong place. St. Catherine's Monastery, the alleged Mount Sinai site, has no archaeological evidence to support it. But just 300 kilometers to the east is Jabal el-Lawz, which is potentially the real Mount Sinai. Not only does this mountain appear to have been burned by some kind of heat that melts rocks, it is surrounded by geologic and archaeologic evidence that supports the biblical narrative of the Exodus, following the path out of that was and the Jewish people could have taken. Exodus trip begins at the Gulf of Aqaba, where the Israelites were stuck between a rock and a hard place. Technically, rocks in a wet place. On one side, a mountain with the only entry blocked off by the Pharaoh's army, and the other side, the Red Sea. Imaging of the sea floor at the crossing point shows a traversable and gradual decline into the sea. Not a land bridge, but also not a cliff that they couldn't navigate. And in antiquity, this site was known to be the crossing point. The Jewish king Solomon erected markers on both sides of the sea at this crossing point. One of them still exists to this day. After the Red Sea, the Jewish people camped at the Palms of Elim.
And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water, 80 and palm trees.
After Elim was Jericho at the rock in Horeb.
Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink.
Here's what we would want to see to validate that it's the real rock in Horeb. It would need to be identifiable near Mount Sinai and have evidence that water flowed from it. This rock is massive. It sits atop a hill and sticks out like a sore thumb. And even though this is a desert climate, there are clear signs of erosion, and it looks like the water source came from the rock. Next stop, the altar to the golden calf. Imagine this. They had just seen God split the Red Sea and then split the rock at Horeb. Now they're watching Moses on Mount Sinai that's on fire. And what do they do to celebrate? They build an altar to a golden calf and party. At the base of Mount Sinai is an altar made of rock, and it appears to have been erected as an altar to the golden calf. There's even what appears to be Egyptian hieroglyphics of a calf inscribed on the rocks that make up the altar. And now we get to the actual mountain itself. From the base of the mountain, you can see the charred rock at the peak of the mountain, and upon closer inspection, the rocks appear to be melted. What would cause rocks on the top of a mountain to melt? Is it possible that it was the presence of God that did this to these rocks? Can you imagine?
Moses, Moses, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers or listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, all right, I want to answer a question, that a sister had asked, concerning with, reading the Bible, and also the latest, all right, with, you had Eve, calling herself and setting the record straight, okay, dealing with doctrine, okay, which is completely off, all right, and we're just going to go into a little bit of that video, and we're going to expound on some things in the spirit, and Lord will, this is edifying. Okay, and this is strictly for the purpose of edification. All right, so I'm gonna go and jump into the video. It's two parts I want to address and deal with, doctrine. All right, and bring out understanding. Now, Oh boy. We cannot find it. Here we go. Let me see. The topic of the week. All right, here you go. The original video.
So
All right, so I'm gonna play, some of it. And we're gonna get precepts. I just got two little pieces I want to play, and go into precepts, okay, and deal with, all right, doctrine, true doctrine, man. Okay, now let's go here. Let's go to an intro and let her speak, and then we're gonna go into the precepts, okay.
shalom, everybody. So this hopefully is not going to be too long of a video because I do have to go to work, but this has been on my heart for the past 2 weeks. The Most High told you to do something, you don't do it, you know how life can go. So I know that I'm going to ruffle some feathers, and honestly, I don't care. I will say that you need to read your Bible. Like, don't listen to me, don't listen to them, don't listen to whoever. Read your Bible before you make a decision on an organization or a group, a camp, or anything that you want to identify yourself with. Because once you start reading the Bible, you will see a lot of differences. I'm just going to say that. But yeah, I'm going to ruffle some feathers today, and I'm cool with it because the Most High told me to say it, and I'm gonna say it. I look around. I identify as a Hebrew Israelite, but it makes it very difficult to do that when I'm associated with hate.
Okay, so let's deal, with what she said. And like I said, I'm gonna play this little part, and I got another little snippet I'm gonna play because I know, brothers and sisters have pretty much seen, this video. It's kind of went Hebrew viral. Okay, and we have seen this, multiple times. Okay, but first of all, let's deal, with her first statement as pertaining to reading the Bible for yourself. Okay, which pretty much she just promoted confusion. And that whole video I listened to at work, and it's just a big contradiction. And can't get not super mad at her. Okay, she's simple, she's young, that's a child. I'm listening to it, it's a child. She probably 18 through 23, 24 maybe, so she pretty much has a mind like a 12, 11-year-old. She a child. Okay, she doesn't have a clue what's going on. Okay, she don't have a clue what's going on. So let's go into the precepts, because this is just edification. Not too much about her, but just some things she said, because she's just the voice of a lot of women that know that they're Israelites that have these same beliefs. Okay, now let's go to 1 Corinthians 1 and 1 Corinthians 14:33, it said, "For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace is in all the churches of the saints." And she opened up with confusion. Just read the Bible for yourselves and see what it says and make a decision. Okay? And what she's leaving out, what she doesn't understand, that all these things are predestined. Now, of course, you're supposed to read and study to show thyself approved. Okay? but there's a particular understanding. There's particular things that have to be broken down. Okay? No matter how much you read, if it's not meant for you to get it, you won't get it. We're going to prove that. Verse 34 said, let your women keep silence in the churches, for it's not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, and saith the law. Because this is what happens. Okay? And this is not an attack or to belittle women. Women have a beautiful role, but the Most High didn't give the woman the skill set to teach the scriptures. Okay? That's not what the woman is built for. She doesn't have the capacity to teach the scriptures. And it's not a knock to women. Okay? Women have a beautiful role within the nation. You see? But it's not the same role as a man. She's not equal, okay, to the man. And this is nothing but feminist / Christianity. All right? The doctrine that she has is feminist, all right, / Christianity with an Israelite twist. It's all it is, man. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, when you read the scriptures, that's the beginning, okay? Because we've read the scriptures our whole lives. A lot of us came up in Christianity reading. I had read the whole Bible, and I used to read all the time before coming to the ministry, but I didn't have a clue what the Bible was speaking of. Okay, when the brother started breaking things down to me, okay, there was precepts that I didn't know exist in the Bible, and I had read the whole Bible, but I didn't have the spirit. You see? But then when the brother started breaking things down and he started putting precepts upon precepts, everything I asked, he had a precept for. And then he would have another precept to bag up the precept that he brought out. Okay? And we're going to get to that. Here a little, there a little. Now, when you go to the book of Acts, chapter 8, okay? When you go to Acts chapter 8, verse 26, and it says, and the angel of the Lord spake unto Philip, saying, arise and go toward the south unto the way that goeth down from Jerusalem to Gaza, which is desert. And he arose and went and beheld a man of Ethiopia and eunuch, all right, of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, all right, who had a charge of all her treasure. He was a treasurer and had come to Jerusalem for to worship. Now, if you read this, okay, you read this and you're simple, you say, oh, well, this is an Ethiopian, this is another nation. Philip is finna teach another nation. All right? But that's why scriptures say here a little, there a little, line upon line, line upon line. Because one thing about the Bible, as you read, there's a line, you can read one precept and one line might, on the surface, it'll make it seem, you'll look at it and it'll seem as if it's talking about an actual other nation. But then when you read in that same precept on another line, that's why I say line upon line, another sentence, it'll show you that this is talking about that this eunuch, all right, was an Israelite. Okay? And what line is it? It says, who had the charge of all her treasure and had come to Jerusalem for to worship. He was coming to Jerusalem to worship. Now, what does that come from? Okay? This is precept upon precept, line upon line. That's how you puzzle the Bible together and really get the understanding. Okay? Now, when you go to Deuteronomy 16 and 16, it says, 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy power in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. So this was a commandment given to Israel that the males had, no matter where they was at, they would have to return and pay reverence on these 3 high holy days, man. the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of Weeks, and the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay? Now, let's get another precept to prove that in Acts, in the same book of Acts. Okay, this is the book of Acts. Okay. Chapter 2, verse 5. And it says, and there were dwelling in Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Okay, you see that? And why was that, man? Because Pentecost, the Feast of Weeks. You see that? So those Jews, what they call Jews, Jake, all right, Israelites, devout men out of every nation under heaven. All right, because it was commanded for the males of Israel to do so. Now, let's go back to Acts the 8th chapter and finish it. All right. It's back in Acts 8 and 27. It says, and he arose and went and beheld a man of Ethiopia, okay, an eunuch, like your great authority on the Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had the charge of all her treasure and had come to Jerusalem for to worship, was returning and sitting in the chariot, read Isaiah the prophet. Then the Spirit said unto Philip, go near and join thyself to this chariot. And Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Isaiah and said, understandest thou what thou readest? And he said, how can I, except some man should guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him. Okay, so he was reading, all right. He was reading the scriptures, but he didn't get the understanding until he was guided by someone in the spirit. Okay, someone who was set up to teach. Okay, let's see what it says in other translations. Okay. This is the NLT. It says, the man replied, how can I unless someone instructs me? Okay. And he urged Philip to come up into the carriage and sit with him. Okay. Going back to the NIV. It says, how can I? He said, unless someone explains it to me. So he invited Philip to come up and sit with him. So as we're being born again, as we've been born again, and when we read things, we have to get things explained to us, man. I know the brother that woke me up. I mean, the brother that first started teaching me the scriptures and the spirit, the spirit woke me up through that, brother. I used to call him every day. I would read, but then I would have questions. I would have to call, okay, and he would have to explain it. He would have to guide. He guided me through it with precepts. Okay. So just read, just telling everybody to read. No, you gotta be guided. It's good to read, but you need guidance. All right, we need teachers, man. Okay, certain things now I still have to hit up brothers and ask some questions. You see, not as much as when we first I first woke up. Okay, but it just don't go to reading. Okay, and then everybody got all these different interpretations of the Bible. No, there's one doctrine, man. Okay, so let's go back to little baby, man. Like I say, she's just a child, man. She don't have a clue what's going on. Okay, she has no earthly idea. She probably seen some on TikTok. Okay, watched a few video or two, and became this super Israelite sister. Okay, but she doesn't have a clue of what's going on. Okay, and I said you can tell she's a child, man. Okay, it's a damn baby. All right. But I'm gonna let a little bit more of it play, and I'm gonna skip on to the other part.
And a lot of camps, and the Most High told me to say it, and Shalom, everybody. So this hopefully is not going to be too long of a video, and I'm going to say it. I look around. I identify as a Hebrew Israelite, but it makes it very difficult to do that when I'm associated with hate. And a lot of camps, and this is specifically for camps. Like I'm just going to say it's specifically for camps. A lot of camps will tell you, oh, we're not a hate group, but we hate Esau. Death to Esau. Like on the street corners, yelling at people, spewing hate. Like the only hatred in this book is from when someone goes against the Most High.
Zero understanding. Okay. I said she has no clue, what the Bible is about. Just like the masses of our people, they have no clue what the Bible is all about. Okay, and she's speaking from the perspective of Esau's propaganda. Okay, when she's speaking about a hate group, she's speaking from a perspective of Esau's propaganda. Okay. And what does she say? She has a problem with the camps. So she has a problem with the men of Israel. Okay? She has a problem with the men of Israel. See, you have to understand, she's probably fourth generation feminist. You see? And for the masses of the women, they do not look at the Israelite man as worthy of having any type of authority. Okay? And the woman, for the most part, still sees herself as some type of supervisor or overseer of the Israelite men. Because pretty much she's addressing all the men of Israel from top to bottom. If you're in the camp, okay, whether you've been in 2 years or 35 years, she's addressing the men of Israel. Okay? And this is nothing but what, man? An extension of the serpent. This mind, she's just a westernized woman that knows she's an Israelite. That's it. A young feminist / Christian / Israelite. This is the doctrine that we're seeing. Okay? She said it's hard for her to identify as an Israelite, which probably she, has no discretion, probably going to work. She says she's gonna go to work, so she got the head wrap. So she's probably, one of those exaggerated Israelites at work, trying to be deep and always, trying to one up, everybody in the break room. Okay, got a precept for for got a precept for you. Every time you hit a corner, it's a precept. No discretion. Okay, and I say women need guidance, man. Women have been overrated for so long that they believe the hype. Okay, and one thing I'm finding out, especially in ministry, is women are simple. Okay, simple, but think they got it. They're beautiful in their order, but the moment they step out of their order, they get extremely simple, man. Okay, so let's deal with the Bible. Now, she says she's associated, okay, with hate. Okay, and that yelling at Esau. And see, our people hate for Esau to be uncomfortable. Okay, our people hate for Esau Edom to feel any type of uncomfort. Okay, but the Bible is making Esau uncomfortable. Okay, in prophecy. Now, let's go here. Now let's go to matter of fact, let's get this in Exodus 17. This is Revelation 17. Okay. And 16. All right. Now this is the Lord speaking to Moses. It said, for he said, because the Lord, all right, Yahweh have sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Okay, and Amalek is a tribe of Esau, Edom. Isn't this a generation that we're in? Okay, and see, people don't understand. See, a lot of people don't understand that the so-called white man is in direct opposition to Yahweh Bashim al-Shai. Okay, he's leading the biggest rebellion, okay, the earth has ever seen. That's why the greatest judgment the earth has ever seen, all right, is coming. You see, people don't understand how this man is getting down in the earth. And like I said, that's how you know she doesn't have a clue what's going on. There's many others that's like her. She just, spirit jumped out there, jumped on her to be the logo. Okay, for now. It'd be, it's way more other things going on, okay, than to spend a lot of time on this. Now, this is what I want to do real quick. Shalom. Because people treat Esau as if, when they think of Esau, they think, their supervisor, okay, their PE coach, their principal, that was cool with them, or that's what they think of when they think of Esau. They don't think of the elites with the the child sacrifice, the pedophilia, the rituals, and the pure wickedness, that they're plotting, okay, in the earth, man. Here it is. We're looked at as just this god awful hate group, but this man has complete control over your food. Okay, that he has poisoned, the air that he has poisoned. Okay, he's releasing pestilence. Okay, he here it is. You have street culture and gang culture that this man finances. Okay, that this man finances. But then we're the hate group. That's another thing. We're such a hate group. Well, here it is. You got Jake. I want to say his ops, his mother, his ops mother went to visit, okay, the grave site, and Jake was at the grave site and killed the mother there, man. Jake is out here wilding, but the camps reading the Bible who haven't harmed anyone, who teach the Bible week in and week out, have count, go about their way, go back to being citizens, okay, paying taxes, okay. But we're just God awful. But this man terrorized the earth in every way you can think of, and we gotta teach him the gospel, man. Get the hell out of here, man. Come on, man. Yeah. So let me let this play real quick. All right, this from the other brother, Yasha Wamba. Okay, he just did in the news, and this is Amalek. Okay, whom the Lord say we have war with generation from generation. This is what Amalek is up to in the earth. Okay, so-called white people. All right, the only nation that Jake is concerned about.
Forum advisor Yuval Noah Harari recently declared that the WEF considers the vast majority of the human population to be obsolete, useless, and redundant. Harari, who is Klaus Schwab's right-hand man, made the disturbing comments in an interview with Chris Anderson, head of the TED Media Group, echoing past predictions of a useless class of obsolete and unemployable humans. According to Harari, so-called common people are right to be fearful of a future in which they will be made redundant. The WEF advisor addressed the widespread anxiety among common people as being rooted in a fear of being left behind in a future run by smart people. Such fears are justified, according to Harari, who spoke on behalf of the elites and confirmed, "We just don't need the vast majority of you." Harari's extraordinary remarks serve as the strongest warning yet that Klaus Schwab's WEF is intent on depopulating the world. Let's listen to some key moments from the podcast now.
A lot of people sense that they are being left behind and left out of the story, even if their material conditions are still relatively good. In the 20th century, what was common to all the stories, the liberal, the fascist, the communist, is that the big heroes of the story were the common people. Not necessarily all people, but if you lived, say, I don't know, in the Soviet Union in the 1930s, life was very grim. But when you looked at the propaganda posters on the walls that depicted the glorious future, you were there. You looked at the posters which showed steel workers and farmers in heroic poses, and it was obvious that this is the future. Now, when people look at the posters on the walls or listen to TED Talks, they hear a lot of, these big ideas and big words about machine learning and genetic engineering and blockchain and globalization, and they are not there. They are no longer part of the story of the future. And I think that again, this is an hypothesis. If I try to understand and to connect to the deep resentment of people in many places around the world, part of what might be going there is people realize, and they are correct in thinking that the future doesn't need me. You have all these smart people in California and in New York and in Beijing, and they are planning this amazing future with artificial intelligence and bioengineering and global connectivity and whatnot, and they don't need me. So maybe if they are nice, they will throw some crumbs my way, like universal basic income. But it's much worse psychologically to feel that you are useless than to feel that you are exploited.
Harari contrasted the 20th century with the 21st while forecasting what he said is the current century's diminishing need for human beings. According to his logic, common people have no right to exist unless they are in service of the elite. Harari said,
if you go back to the middle of the 20th century,
you see, and when you listen to what he's saying, and this guy likens, what they're trying to do into the next Noah's Ark, where only a certain amount of people are going to survive, for the benefit, of the plan that they have. And this greenhouse effect, global warming, everything we hear being pushed is a big part, all right, of them justifying themselves and what they're getting ready to do. You can also look up the Malthusian theory, all right, where there's not enough resources in the planet Earth to sustain all of the people. All right, so you're justified in plaguing and killing off mass amounts. And we can go back to this, but let's go to this article.
So I brought that out, to show what this devil is on. Okay, these Edomites, these so-called white people that Jake can't live without, okay, they're up to some extreme wickedness in the earth, man. And all you Jakes, okay, that we can't pry off Esau, the Most High is going to turn this man up. When the scriptures say he's gonna be like a madman, sparing none, that's gonna be a spirit that the Most High is gonna put on this devil, man, and he's gonna go insane in the earth, man. Okay, the Most High is gonna turn this man loose in the earth. Okay, you jakes that love Esau so much, okay, the Most High is gonna show you, all right, why he created Esau, man. The scripture say he created the wicked for the day of evil, man. Esau was created, all right, to get down in this moment here, man. This was his main purpose, man. Okay, and he's gonna run through niggas, man. Okay, when Esau is turned up and turned loose, he's gonna run through you niggas, man. All right, but can't make it up, man. Now this is a brother Israelite seeking salvation. This is Psalms 139, verse 21 through 22. It said, "Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee?" And Esau Edom is leading the biggest rebellion against righteousness, man. Okay? He's leading the biggest rebellion against righteousness, man. He has risen up against Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. He plans on fighting Yahweh Shai at his return. Okay? These Edomites have no part in salvation. Okay? They're the villain in the movie. Okay? It says, "I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them, all right, my enemies." And Jake refuses to accept that they have enemies, man. Jake is trying to hug everyone, all right? Jake loves trying to hug the oppressor, trying to, okay, unite and showing you that there's New World Order doctrine, man. This equality and everyone can be saved. That's a New World Order doctrine, man. Okay? Where everyone is saved and everyone is equal, and you know, this utopia of love. Okay? That's a New World Order delusion that Esau is selling to the masses, man. Okay? So let's get a couple scriptures, man. All right. Now, when you read the book of Luke, chapter 1, and we'll start at 68. Okay. This is Luke 1 and 68. All right. And it says, "Blessed be the Lord, power of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people." Okay. "And have raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which were all men, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies." Okay? That we should be saved from our enemies. Look at what this man is planning to do in the earth. Okay? That's why I say people have there's a lot of Israelites that know that they're Israelites. They have a very simple understanding of what's going on. Okay? Like I said, when they think of Esau, they think of, you know, their cashier at Walgreens, or you know, I say their principal. Okay? Their football coach in high school, junior high. See, that's what Jake think when he think of an Edomite. No, man. Okay? There are some Edomites in some high places that are planning wickedness in the earth, man. Okay? It says, "and from the hand of all that hate us." Okay? Now, this great reset that you hear these Edomites keep speaking of, okay? Within their reset is the extermination of a lot of Israelites, man. That's within this plan. Because the scripture said that in the end he would do what? Okay? What would this man do towards his end? And see, Christianity and all these people that know they're Israelites with all these platforms and bugged out doctrine has confused the masses, man. Okay? Confused as hell. Now, Revelation 12:12 said, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, Esau Edom, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So this man is getting ready to come down with wrath because he knows that his time is short. Like he's seeing things that he's not reporting. We see different chariot sites and different reports, but there's things that this devil is seeing that's not being reported. Don't tell what type of visions he's been played with. This man know if he got a short time and he's fast tracking, man. Okay, we're not finna sit here argue, with no woman about Esau, man, or anything contained in the Bible. Okay, if you believe that, because see, I'll wait till I play that. I'm gonna read this. This is Revelation 12:17 says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Now, if you don't understand the characters of the Bible, okay, you're missing the narrative. All right, good is set against evil. If a brother can post that, I think it's Sirach 33. Okay, good is set against evil. There has always been the battle since the womb between Jacob and Esau, man. Okay, and there was a foreshadow of what would play out in the earth between these two nations, man. Okay, and now we're coming to the last showdown between good and evil. Okay, and Yahweh Shai is coming, is returning to bring victory to his people Israel, man. Okay, and the main victory is over the beast. Okay, this system, man, ran by who? Esau Edom. Okay, the so-called white man. This is way bigger than us. This is way, see, Jake think of, Rosa Parks and civil rights. They think that's the origin of this, what's happening today. No, man, it's way beyond that, man. This is thousands of years, okay, of conflict, okay, between these two seed lines, man. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, which is the modern Roman Empire today, which consists of America, NATO, and the EU. Okay, with America being at the forefront. Okay, and the woman is Israel and went to make war with the remnant, okay, the elect of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, okay, which is prophecy, man. Okay, and you get caught up in, this little TikTok, Israelite movement where, you just know you're Israelite and you read every now and then and drink wine and read the Bible every now and then and you, all right, burn an incense or two and now you just got it. Okay, this thing is about prophecy, man, and we in the thick of prophecy as we speak. Okay, now I want to play a little more. I want to jump to another part. Okay. In the video. Get these. This is the brother you call hopeful elect. This is Hebrews 12:16. So at least there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Yeah, he was impatient and he didn't have faith. Okay. He didn't appreciate the birthright anyway. That's why he sold it, all right, for a meal. Okay. And that's how he rules the earth now. Like he doesn't appreciate nothing. That's why he's destroying the earth. Here it is. He's been given the authority of the earth. This man is destroying the earth, man. Okay. Pollution, corruption. You know, he doesn't appreciate anything, man. That's his nature. Verse 17, for you know that afterward he will have inherited the blessing. He was rejected. Okay, Esau was rejected. Yeah, Jacob supplanted Esau, was set up. But before they was even born, Esau was rejected. Okay, it said Romans 9:11, before the children being yet born, having done good nor evil. Okay, it was set up. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Esau was rejected, all right, before birth, man. It said, for he found no place of repentance. Okay. And then Jake love to try to find the loopholes. Jake read the whole Bible just to find a loophole for Esau. When Jake talking about they read the Bible, they don't read the whole Bible, and they're pushing Esau can be saved. Well, they read the Bible just to find loopholes to try to save this nigga, man. Okay. It said, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Okay. He's done. He was rejected. All right. Let's go here. It's the brother Israelites seeking salvation. This is Sirach 33 and 14. It says, good is said against evil. All right. Jacob and Esau. And life against death. Okay. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly, man. There's opposition in the Bible. Within the narrative of the movie, there's an opposition. Two nations will be at odds with each other throughout their entire existence, man. And that's what it's been between us and Esau, man. These Edomites. Until this day. Okay? So, let's go back to it. So I want to skip to another part. I think it's about just want to get this part, and we'll be done with that. I think this is it.
That's what we lack. We lack accountability. We lack us. More wicked than the heathen. That's what we lack. We lack accountability. We lack humility. We want to be mad at someone else. And that's what we exhibit on those street corners. We want to be mad at some other nation because, yes, we were done. We were done and are still being done poorly here. But what did we do to our father to cause us to do that? And I'm sorry, I get upset because I don't appreciate people using my father's name for their own agendas when and saying, well, the Bible speaks for itself. It does. And it does not say to hate the white man or to hate all other nations. It does not say that other nations will not receive the kingdom. And I'm going to prove that.
You can't prove that. Okay. Now, she spoke about accountability. Okay, let's deal with the accountability part first. And no one on planet Earth has been without more accountability than Eve. Nobody. Eve has been allowed to destroy at least 2 generations. Eve has been allowed to dismantle 2 generations, okay, with no accountability, still prancing around the earth with pride. You see? Hasn't been held accountable for anything and still talking about, still has these unrealistic expectations for a man. An Israelite woman, all right, has played a major part in the destruction spiritually, okay, mentally, physically. You go into the the abortion rate, okay, has destroyed at least 2 generations. No accountability. You see? So you don't want to talk about accountability. Now, the Bible, let's get into the scriptures, and that's it, from her. She through, like I say, she young, she don't know what's going on, man. And just like the brother said, see, there ain't no sense of going into Timothy and bringing out examples of what the woman should be like. Eve don't care about that because she has liberty, because this place is still functioning. And that's why they want to say the so-called white man, because the so-called white man gave them liberty to do these things. Okay? Gave them the authority to do these things. And that's why they want to keep the so-called white man in power, so they can still, play this overseer and supervisor role over the Israelite man. Because she telling you that, look, it's the camps. It's the camps. Where did she get the concept of doing a sit down from? Okay? Where did that come from? Here it is. It's this big, Jake has this big problem with camps. Okay? But the teachings this encompass the earth came through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim al-Shah dealing with camps. You see? But going back to the point that she wants, not she, but Israelite women, the majority of Israelite women want Esau to stay in power because Esau gave them an authority, to be this overseer of the Israelite man, and women don't want to relinquish that, man. Some hold on to it more than others, but even all Israelite women have a little piece of that authority that they just holding on to, that they don't want to let go. And some sisters are fighting, trying to work through it. All right, but women do not want to let their little authority go, man. All right, but it's gonna be snatched from them. So I say, ain't no sense of going through all these precepts, where it proves that the woman shouldn't teach and the woman shouldn't have authority. They don't care, okay? Because they're not being held accountable right now. But in the time of Jacob's trouble, all this gonna diminish. Okay, all this pride and trying to do a breakdown, all this gonna diminish quick. Okay. So prophecy gonna handle that problem. All right. So let's deal with the precepts, because like I said, the Bible holds Esau accountable, because here it is, we get punished as a nation. We done suffer the worst captivity on the planet Earth under the sun. Okay, let's get there real quick. We done suffer the worst captivity under the sun, okay, as a nation. We done got to toe out the frame. You see? Under curses right now as we speak. But then when it comes to the punishment of another nation, it gotta be something worked out. That can't be the case. Okay? You go to Daniel 9 and 12. We got punished as a nation of people. Okay, nobody had a problem with that. No one, has a problem with that. You mentioned another nation, all right, suffering. Then now we just the biggest hate group ever. We some amazing hate group. This man actually killed people. Then I'm gonna get to it. Let me slow down. All right, let's deal with this. In Daniel 9 and 12, it says, and he have confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon a great evil. Okay, bringing upon us a great evil, for under the whole heaven have not been done and have been done upon Jerusalem. Okay, the worst captivity in earth. All right, we suffered as a nation. All tribes, man. What the conquistadors did to the northern kingdom. Okay, those Portuguese Edomites. Spanish Edomites, man. Okay? What them Britons and the French did to the Southern Kingdom. Okay? No other nation has went through that. And it was because of the anger of the Lord against us, man. But Esau went too far. We're going to prove it, man. Okay? And the scripture hold this man accountable. Let's deal. Let's go to Isaiah 47. All right, Isaiah 47 and 6. It says, I was wroth with my people, and this is why, you know, we went through what we went through. Okay, because we did push the Lord to anger. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Esau showed no mercy. We was given into his hand because of the Lord's anger, but this man took it too far. And now he's even taken to the point, okay, where he wants to make us a perpetual slave, man. Okay? Let's get some more, man. Okay? And you go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 35 and 5, it says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel. You see, the Bible holds this man accountable. Okay? By the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, when the Lord was angry at us, in the time that their iniquity had an end, he never stopped. It was a perpetual hatred. Okay? Never any mercy, man. He gave you a false illusion of freedom. Okay? The civil rights and all that. But after the civil rights, he enchanted you, all right, and turned our people out spiritually. Because after civil rights, that's where you get the feminist movement. Okay? Then it moves into what? The crack epidemic. Then gangster rap. Okay? Now it's the alphabet community. So within this liberty, okay, he enchanted the masses of our people into wickedness, man. Okay? The things that we went in captivity for, he spent billions, trillions of dollars, okay, to keep our people in sin. And Jake is wicked for participating after hearing his word. Okay? That's on them. They're going to pay for that as well. Okay? But the Bible holds this man accountable, man. Let's get this in Habakkuk, man. Okay? Let's get Habakkuk chapter 2. Habakkuk 2 and 15 says, woe unto them that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And this is what Esau Edom did. Okay, he gave the women feminists, you know, equality, you know, women equality. Okay, he gave that to our people, man. Street coach, Esau created niggas, man. Okay. Esau created niggas, man. And it says that puttest thy bottle to him, those philosophies, man. Plantation Christianity that has Jake oblivious not only to the Bible, but what's going on in the earth, man. The Christian is the most left behind person it is, man. Jake, that's a Christian. Our people that's Christians, they're the most left behind people that there is, man. Don't know what's going on in the earth. Okay? And Esau has done this, and now he puts the nakedness of our people all throughout his media. He gave our people a way of sin and iniquity. Okay, and now he sends that same iniquity on tour. He puts it in the movie. He puts them in the movie. Okay, billboards, commercials, you know. Verse 16 says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. Yeah, he's been exposed. Okay, it said the cups of the Lord right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And this is what we're seeing now, okay, with the legacy of Esau, because for the longest he's been looked at as this moral standard in the earth. Okay, as if he's all about humanity, and you know, he's just great humanitarian, just loves everything, and you know, he's all about preserving the earth. And they tell you about some green energy while they test nukes and they fall in the water. All those aircraft carriers with all the pollution in the ocean, man. But then they say, well, you breathing too much. You know, going back to the carbon footprint. This is the devil, Esau, Edom doing all these things, man. Okay? Our people have very simple understanding of this devil, man. Okay? Let's get this in Revelation. All right, let's get this. Yeah. Like the brother said, like I said, women have a beautiful, a woman that's in order is a beautiful thing. You know, even just a residue, you know, of a woman in order is a beautiful thing. You see? Well, as soon as a woman steps out of that order, man, she becomes very simple and a liability, man. Okay? Useless for the most part, man. All right? Now, like I say, we're not in, you know, this ain't the war of the sexes. We're not here to, you know, the he-man, woman, hater club. Okay? We just addressing things according to doctrine and addressing the mindset that's among, you know, the masses of our people, you know, especially a lot of women. Okay? Revelation 13:9, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth to captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay? This is accountability. Okay? Prophecy is going to hold everybody accountable. Okay? It's going to hold whole nations accountable. Okay? In the times to come. And Jeremiah, the precept in the Old Testament that links up with that is in Jeremiah. Okay? There's an accountability for everybody in the scriptures, man. All right? This is Jeremiah 30:16. It said, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. Okay? Every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Okay? This is accountability for your ass, man. Every one of them. That's why all these heathens go into captivity, man. Okay? They hit them up voice. All you, you see? Everybody. Okay? The Lord's coming back to judge nations, man. So, let's go here. Because everybody wants to try to be a mediator for the so-called white man. Okay? Everybody wants to vouch for this guy. You see? But he's done. He was already settled from the beginning. Okay? He's playing the role he was meant to play. Okay? He's playing his role within the script. Okay? He's the nation that was created to be hated by the Most High, man, and his son Yahushua. And as we're being conformed to that, man, hey, we have a hatred for this man as well, this nation of people as well. Okay? And we're in spiritual war. We haven't did anything, man. Okay, we coexist and okay, pay taxes and leave tips. You see, upstanding citizens. Okay, but we understand that there's a spiritual war between these two nations of people. There's a conflict between these two nations of people, man. And the Lord is going to come avenge, man. Okay? Now, she made another point that said that she hates when people, okay, use the Bible for their own agenda. Come on, man. Come on. Okay? Who did that more than Esau Edom? Okay? Who did that more than Esau Edom? Used the Bible for his own agenda. Okay? This man colonized the earth under Christianity, the law of discovery, okay? The Spanish Inquisition, which, Lord, would I just do a separate lesson, just go into those things, how this man colonized the earth, okay? This man colonized the earth with Christianity. When you go into the book of Job, verse 9, you always get it. And the brother can post it in what's that? Maccabees 3 and 48. When they open the book of the law, the heathen, okay, those Edomites, the Greeks at that time. Job 9:24 said, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Okay? This man has repainted the Most High as him. He repainted, he he portrayed the Messiah as him. But we preach the gospel to him, and we haters. When we hate, we a hate group. Okay, this man stole lands, went to war with people based off Christianity, man. Okay, feeding people and animals based off Christianity, man. Torture people based off Christianity. This man did this. Okay, but we go teach the Bible on outside for 3 hours out the week. We do sit downs during the week, but we go outside on the highways and byways, and we just climb the charts. We climb the charts to the of hate groups. We're at the top. We must be stopped. Esau put some hell of enchantments out here, man. This man put some hell of enchantments out here, man. But I want to deal with a question, that a sister had asked, dealing with reading the Bible, in chronological order. Now, I say this, to the sisters that, it's good to read and, study, okay? But don't put a lot of emphasis in trying to get, so deep, okay? Trying to get the deep breakdowns and understandings. Like, you have to understand, as women have been so far removed from their natural order as women that that's the main thing that you should be focused on as women. Okay, your skill set as a mother and a wife. Okay, a potential mother or wife. If you're not married or you don't have children. Okay, but the main emphasis of a woman should be on that skill set. Okay, the mindset of an Israelite woman. Okay, how to be the best help. Have a mindset towards nation building. Okay, don't put a whole bunch of emphasis in trying to get just deep in the scriptures, man, because that's not the lot that was given unto you. Okay, but now to answer the question, let's get that in Isaiah. because you can read the scriptures in chronological order. Like there's certain books, like we went through the series of Joshua. Okay, you go through different stories, Exodus, and you go through different things. All right, because the Bible is full of history. You might read from Samuel, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel. You read, you can read in chronological order, and it can be edifying, and it can give you, where you can understand the history of what was going on during those times. Those accounts, themselves can be edifying. Okay, so you can read it in that fashion, but to really get the understanding, it has to be precept upon precept. All right, and I'm gonna read Isaiah 20. I'm gonna read it, and then we're gonna just go over some examples. I don't know if the sister's still on or not. This is Isaiah 28 and 13. It says, "But the word of the Lord was unto them." Okay. I'm gonna go up. This is Isaiah 28:9. It says, "Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast," because it starts with being born again. Okay. And then we learn the milk of the scriptures, and then, okay, we start to go into the meats of the scriptures, okay, which is taught in this fashion. It said, "For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little." Okay? "For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people." Now, precept upon precept is how you really get into, the understanding. That's why you see the way that brothers teach. Okay? It's precept upon precept. Now, reading the Bible in chronological order, okay, it won't, you can read it, and it gives you, like I say, the context of what was going on. Okay, it gives you accounts, that you can reference back to, because like I said, sometimes, we read the Bible, okay, in chronological order, going over different, histories and, different things. Like we go to, we'll refer back to the rulership of Solomon. Okay. And then we get precepts to, to show how it links with future prophecy. Okay. Well, let's just go here. Let's go to, because you can see the Bible is so tough that you can be reading an account and heavy prophecy has just come out of nowhere. Okay. Let's get Second Samuel. Let's get 2 Samuel. Just a couple of examples. 2 Samuel chapter 7. Now this is, David plans to build, a temple. So he asked Nathan the prophet, and the prophet went and inquired of the Lord. Okay, and this is what was brought back to David. All right, this is 2 Samuel 7:5. Now this is actually happening in real time. Okay, this is an account of the scriptures. But see, you can read this account and understand the context of what's going on. But then you really have to go into other precepts to get what this message is going into, to decode what's being said. It says, "Go and tell my servant David, thus said the Lord." All right, "Thus said the Lord, shalt thou build me a house for me to dwell in, whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I have brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day, but have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle. In all the places whereof I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribes of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people." Okay. Israel saying, "Why build ye not me in a house of cedar?" Verse 8, "Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David, thus said the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep to be ruler over my people, over Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thy enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of great men, all right, that are in the earth. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel. See, it goes from being a regular account to now he's going to jump to some prophecy, some heavy prophecy. Okay, so you can be reading an account, you know, you're into it and you're reading it like a novel, but then it'll jump into some heavy prophecy. When you go to verse 10, it said, moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant them, that they may dwell in the place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more as before time. And that's speaking of Esau, Edom. So now it jumps from this time period, speaking what David was going through. Okay, then it jumps to, all right, a future prophecy of when we will be put back in Israel. Because remember, they're in Israel now. Okay, but it said, moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel. And David was in Israel ruling. Okay, so it was, this is letting you know there was going to be a time we was going to be scattered. You see that? So let's get a precept to go with it. So I was like, you can read it like saying, then you can keep reading on, and it's going to go into it, which you read that chapter, you know, we'll be another, 2 hours just getting precepts, breaking it down. But you can read that account, and then, once Nathan is finished, then it goes back into, just like reading like a novel, okay? But then I say, every now and then, Most High just throw some heavy prophecy in there. You have to go get precepts to really understand what it's saying, okay? Now, you go to Leviticus 26, and and 40, it says, and if they confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass, which they trespass against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me. And can a brother get Baruch chapter 2, verses 30, 32 to the end, like 32 through 37. Let's get that. And it says, and they also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and then they accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. Because he's going to bring us back to that land. But see, there was a falling away to where we would have to be brought back. There was a scattering that happened that we would have to be brought back and placed back in that land where we wouldn't be moved anymore. Okay? That didn't happen during the time of Solomon, because eventually the kingdoms were split, the northern and southern kingdom, and eventually, okay, all the tribes were in captivity and scattered. Okay? So they're speaking of end time prophecy. But it's in 2 Samuel 7 and 10. Okay? When you read Lamentations, okay, which when you can read Lamentations, you can read it all the way through chapter for chapter, and it's pretty much Jeremiah explaining, okay, of the siege that happened, because this is an actual siege that happened, all right, to the southern kingdom by the Babylonians. And Jeremiah is explaining what he's seeing. Okay? So as he goes into it, as he's explaining, okay, Jeremiah is pretty much lamenting for what he has seen. People starving to death, people commit, Jake was committing cannibalism. The Babylonian troops were just slaughtering Jake in the streets. Okay? He's seeing these things. and he's in the spirit, and he's going through it. Okay, and you get the Lamentation 4:21. It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked." So here it is. This is Jeremiah. He's speaking about the siege that he's seeing, that he's living through, okay, during the time of the Babylonians. But then you get the Lamentation 4:21. He gets to, in the spirit, he gets to talking about Esau, going back to this time here, because Esau is in power now, okay? And he should rejoice and be glad, because this is it for him. This is his last empire, okay, before his captivity. That cup of captivity finna be passed unto him, okay? It says, "The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion." See, we're coming to fulfillment of our captivity, okay? And Esau's finna go in the beginning of his. He will no more, you see this? He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So now it goes to the controversy of Jacob and Esau. And remember, this is during the siege of the Babylonians, okay? But it goes to heavy prophecy with Jacob and Esau, and it lines up with what was told to David by Nathan the prophet in 2 Samuel 7:10, that the children of the wicked would no more afflict us, and we would be appointed a land, and we would never move again, okay? I hope this is making sense, you know. If you let me see. So when you go to book of Baruch, just the brother of Young Yashala, this is the book of Baruch, all right, 2:32, and it says, "And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity," which we're doing now, "and think upon my name," okay, "and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the ways of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord," all right, "and I will bring them again into the land," okay, going back to what he said in 2 Samuel, he's going to appoint a place for his people Israel, okay, "which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished," okay, "and they shall not be diminished," all right, and it says, "and I will make," hold on, I'll read it again, "and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them." So that one precept in 2 Samuel, okay, which goes to future prophecy, is backed up by all these other precepts where you really get to see the full picture, okay, of the prophecy. You see? And you can read those accounts, okay? You can read the Bible in chronological order and get familiar with those accounts, but they're really broken down and explained thoroughly through other precepts, okay? Let's just get one more just to show. When you go to 1 Kings 4, all right, 1 Kings 4 and 20, all right. It's 1 Kings 4 and 20 said, "Judah and Israel were many as the sand of the sea, which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry." Okay, now you jump down 1 Kings 4:25, and Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. So this is an actual account. These things actually happened. Okay, so you can read these things and be familiar with these accounts, and go into the history of Solomon, and how he was ruling and what was going on. Okay. But a lot of things that we read are a foreshadow of things to come. All right. So let's go get that understanding. Let's get that understanding. So it said Judah and Israel dwell safely, right? So let's get this in Jeremiah. And what was Solomon? He was a king. Okay. And what lineage did Solomon come from? All right, David. So when you go to this prophecy in Jeremiah 23:5, behold, the days come. Now this is way after Solomon. Okay. This is hundreds of years after Solomon. It says, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. You see that? You see how this prophecy lines up with that account? But it's speaking of a future time. All right? It says, and this is his name whereby he shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. Okay? And see how it lined up? And then what did it say? Every man was under his own fig tree, which means every man had their own substance. Okay? Let's read it again, and then we'll close it with the prophecy that links up with this. Okay? And this is, it's so much, we can go into, I just want to hit the main points, 1 Kings 4 and 1 Kings 4 and okay, 25 again, it says, and Judah and Israel dwelt safely under Solomon. Okay, and we're gonna be in that same scenario under Yahushua, except eternal. Okay, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. So it says every man under his vine and under his fig tree. Now, real quick, if a brother can post a precept, the prophecy that lines up with that, 1 Kings 4 and 25. All right, there's a precept, okay, that lines up with it. There's a prophecy, all right, that lines up with what we just read, Every man under his own fig, or on his own vine, on his own fig. Real quick pop quiz question for brothers. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up. Let me get this. Pull it up over here. See what we got. Yeah, a few more seconds, man. Well, our brothers, search. All right. I wanna, because she asked about, a study Bible. So I'm gonna leave a link. All right. The study Bible that I've been using, pretty good. And the reason I like it, because it has a segment called Between the Testaments, and it gives you the history, pretty much in-depth history about, the Maccabean Empire. Okay. It goes into Alexander, it goes into the Persian Empire. Between the Testament, it pretty much gives you a bridge between Malachi and Matthew, all the things that was going down within that history. Okay, it's called the Thomas Nelson King James Study Bible, and I think it went down. Let me see. I'll leave the link. I don't know if it. Damn. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to, look at that study Bible, that's the one I've been using. It's been pretty, got a lot of meat in it. Esau always got some bones, where he try to include everybody, but it gives pretty good, backdrops on what was going on, different information about what was going on. So yeah, I get that in Michael, man. I see brothers that come through for me, man. But where you at, man? It's all good. That's what we're here for. But so when you go to Micah chapter 4, which it reads like Isaiah 2, it's pretty much the same prophecy in Isaiah the 2nd chapter. But when you get down to the 5th chapter, which we'll just read through it, Micah 4:1 said, "But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountains of the house of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it." Okay, the government of Israel will be the dominant government in the earth. Okay, in which all nations, all right, will have to abide by our standard. That's why Yahweh Shah is coming back to do what? Give us power over the nations. Okay. And many nations shall come and say, "Come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word, okay, of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge many people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree." You see that? "But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree," which means every Israelite man will have their own substance. Okay? Every Israelite man will have their own livestock. They're going to have their own wives. They're going to have their own land, their own palaces, estates. Okay? Their own slaves. They're going to have their own resources and substance. Just in the days of Solomon, man. It says, "And none shall make them afraid. We're going to dwell safely," just like in those days of Solomon, "for the mouth of the Lord of hosts have spoken it," man. Okay? So yeah, I just want to bring that out. That's the point. I pray that you brothers, all right, and you sisters were edified. Like I say, with the little chick, the little baby, all right. She's just a child. Brothers don't go crazy on her. She's just a child. But if she don't repent, the Most High not gonna have Peter. Put that out there too. If she don't come out that BS with Jacob Trouble, is gonna shake a lot of it, all this plan, okay, out the earth, man. Okay. But like I say, she don't know what's going on. She's a baby. She probably ain't got no bills in her name yet. She don't know what it is, man. Okay. But just expounding on in the spirit. All right. So till next time, I say Shalom, Kwam Yashala, Abba, DTA soon, Shalom.